Hello everybody, how you doing? So we're back here, and today I'm going to introduce the second video of my class overview. This one's going to be the soldier. So, as you probably noticed, I'm going to probably be going in the line of all the different classes, such as scout, like I already did last time, soldier, pyro, downman, and etc. So, the next one you can expect is most likely the pyro. Now, before I start, I should let you know that I do not have everything for the soldier, but I will do my best to name all the rest. And if you notice me leaving out something, please put it in the comments section below, and I will maybe put an annotation up to talk about it, just to make sure it gets added into the video as well. So, the first thing I want to say is that the soldier is an extremely powerful class. When it comes to range, these guys are second to snipers, because snipers can get the one-hit kill on every class. They can take out sentry guns with ease from afar. The only thing that they can't do is go up to the front line, so that's what the soldier is for. He can easily take out any enemy in about 2 to 3 hits. Most of the time it's going to be about 3 hits if you are accurate and hit them relatively close to their feet. So they are essential to eliminate enemy resistance. If you don't have a soldier on your team, then you gotta have one. They're an easy class to play. They can easily tank a lot of damage. Yes, tank a lot of damage. And just all in all, they're mostly used to hold the line. So they're not really. I mean, with a soldier, you can't really advance because they don't. You need a group to advance. You can't just, unless you don't have much resistance, you can't really advance with a soldier. He's gonna go down fast. So, like all classes, you can't. If there's like 3 sentry guns ahead, there's no question that you. There's no question that you won't be able to do it unless you have an uber charge. And even then, 3 sentry guns is going to be pretty hard to take down. Sorry about that. But they're mostly used to just hold the line and eliminate enemy resistance. They can survive alone and in a group. But this is just survival. This isn't really attack or going against a lot of enemies. It's just about defending themselves. So they're not bad with defending themselves and attacking other people. Their only problem really is that they're a major target to spies, or for spies, due to their slow movement speed. They're one of the slowest classes in the game, second to the heavy, I believe. And they can't really run away easily. If they have full health, then they can easily rocket jump to get out of the way. And rocket jumping is definitely a relatively easy skill to master that you should definitely try to pick up while playing soldier. It will help you immensely while you're trying to play this class. But they can't really run away easily. If they have low health and they don't have an equalizer, then they're most likely going to die, because if you try to use a rocket jump, you're going to kill yourself. So they can't really run away easily. If they ever try to retreat, support them so that they can get away, but 9 out of 10 chances they'll have an equalizer. So yeah, but that's enough with that. Next, as always, I'll go into the loadouts. So, the soldier, he's not really a class that you can select a lot of loadouts for. While trying to make 4 unique loadouts for this class, I couldn't really. Not like the scout. Like the scout, I was easily able to make a default loadout, which was good for like basically giving the scout all of his advantages, a power class, a distraction class, and my favorite class. I couldn't really do that with a soldier because his abilities are very centered around one area for everything, and really equipping another weapon just gives you more of a challenge than a different play style. You generally play soldier the same way with every weapon you have. If you have anything to say about that, if you have anything you want to say about that, just put it in the comments section. We can have a nice little discussion. So this is the default layout that you should always use. The equalizer is the best melee weapon for the soldier. There's also the market gardener that I can think of. Basically, when you're rocket jumping, you will do criticals, which, in my opinion, is absolutely horrible and very, very situational, because while you're playing soldier, you don't want to really get up close to people. But that is why I've chosen the shotgun for the soldier, because it's very, very effective. Yes, I'm pretty much going backwards with this loadout, but you'll get the message anyway. So the equalizer, damage and move speed increase as the user becomes injured. Block ceiling when in use. If you're getting healed, don't take this out, or else you're gonna start. Well, you're gonna lose your medic. He's not gonna be able to heal you anymore. The beam just instantly gets cut. I don't understand why they have to block healing when this is in use. It's kind of strange, but it's fine. Although there's only advantages that you can actually see with the equalizer, there's also a disadvantage. When you have full health, the equalizer does about 20 to 40 damage, I believe. So unless you're damaged, never ever ever use this as a primary unless your enemy is extremely weak, and even then it really shouldn't be something you should think about. If you're very weak though, you can kill almost any class in one hit, except for heavies. They will definitely take a few hits. Next, the shovel. This is something you should use only and only if you do not have the equalizer, or if you want to have some fun. That's okay too. But oh, sorry. Oops. But if you have the equalizer, you need to equip this. 9 out of 10 soldiers use this. So I highly suggest trying this out if you haven't already. Buy it if you can. Maybe 1 or 2 scrap. Next, we have the half Ichi. I've heard that's how it's pronounced. On kill, it restores you to 100% health, but the problem is it's honor bound, and once drawn, it cannot be sheathed until it kills. So basically, once you take this out, it cannot be put away. You cannot take out any other weapon until this kills somebody. But when it kills someone, it restores you to full health. Soldiers and demomen who have, if, for example, a demoman and a soldier meet each other, and they both have this, because they're the only classes that can use it, they can fight each other, and the first one to attack the other person with the weapon kills them. This also works with soldier and demo and demo. Next, the pain train. Now, don't just instantly scrap this. This is actually a very, very, very helpful item. The soldier is not meant for objective-based play, although he can play the objective. Any class can play the objective. It's just a matter of how centered they are around it. The scout is the most centered around objective-based gameplay. But the pain train surely makes a soldier very effective as a team player, because while you use this, it will make you count for as many people as a scout, which is 2 players. So equip this, you will take 10% more damage, which is not actually a bad price, because if you are alone, you're gonna want to have your weapon out anyway. So really, this 10% bullet damage vulnerability doesn't really hurt you in any way that I can really think of, unless you really want to like just go and attack people with it. There's no reason to do that. But I'll include any more melee weapons I might have missed. I'm sure there's at least one more, except for the market gardener. I don't know though. So next, I'll go to the rocket launcher, since I didn't cover these. Now I did trade away my Cowmangler, I guess. The Cowmangler, it has infinite shots, can charge up a shot that will deal fire damage to enemies, and all in all, it's just kind of a crappy weapon. It's not really a rocket launcher. It's just a laser beam shooter. So if you want to get more stats on that, just go to the Team Fortress wiki. Just search it up on Google. Alright, so this is the default rocket launcher. And arguably it's one of the better ones. Besides the original. The original is essentially the same exact thing. Only that it fires rockets from the center of the screen. So it's a little weird, but that's how it is. So the original and the rocket launcher are basically the same exact things. So this will kill in about 2 to 3 hits. 1 hit with a rocket unless it's a heavy or an overcharged heavy. Heavies will not die in 1 hit from a rocket. They will take at least 2 hits because they will have at least 30 health left. At least. Saying at least a little too much. Next off, we have the black box. Now, when you hit someone, this is going to add 15 health to you no matter how much damage you do. So if you do a rocket, 15 health. If you hit him for 1 damage, you get 15 health. So it's very, very nice. I love this as a survivability rocket launcher. It's just all in all a great weapon. But the problem is that you get a minus 25% clip size. Now this actually is a big deal because you cannot spam the rocket launcher as much. Now one rocket, it's not a big deal, but really once you start really starting to play soldier, you'll realize that 1 more rocket feels like another 3 rockets. It really does seem like this rocket launcher shoots for a lot longer than this, although it's only 1 rocket. I don't know, you be the judge, but anyway. The direct hit sets a plus 25% damage bonus, a plus 80% projectile speed, and mini crits targets launch running by explosions. Now, if you didn't notice the minus 70% explosion radius con at the bottom, you'd be saying, holy shit, this is an amazing weapon, I want to use this right now. So that minus 70% explosion radius basically means if you don't hit someone directly, yes, I mean hitting them in the face, on the chest, wherever you hit them, it has to explode on contact with them, which is actually a pretty dang hard thing to do. If you don't hit them directly, it's not going to do anything to them. And if you do happen to hit the ground, it might do about 2 damage to them if you're lucky. All in all, if you're accurate, this is an excellent weapon. It has 4 shots. This weapon doesn't have a lot of cons. The only real con about it is that you gotta directly hit people, which is why people don't use it. But all in all, this is a great rocket launcher to rocket jump with, since the minus 70% explosion radius will not hurt you as much. Paired with the gunboats, I don't really know why it's called gunboats, but paired with the gunboots, you will barely take any damage. I haven't tried this out, but I'm pretty sure that would happen. So next, we have the Liberty Launcher. Now, I would say that this is great for people learning to use the rocket launcher, but the only problem is that it has a 40% projectile speed. Now, this is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, along with the minus 25% clip size. So the problem is that you're going to get so used to this faster rocket. It is a faster rocket. I love this rocket launcher. It's really nice. But if you use it for too long, you're not gonna really remember the feel of the other rocket launcher, which doesn't have that 40% speed boost, and you're not gonna really hit anything anymore because you're gonna be so used to the 40% extra speed. So if you like using both the Liberty Launcher and say the black box, which doesn't have that speed bonus, then don't use this for too long. Don't use any rocket launcher for too long. Switch up your playstyle. It's probably the only thing about the soldier. You gotta really switch up because his weapons kind of change his survivability a little bit, I guess you could say. But anyway, there's also a rocket jumper. It deals absolutely no damage to you whatsoever, and it's mostly used to learn rocket jump patterns. And if you actually equip the rocket jumper, man treads, and market gardener, you'll give yourself an extremely difficult challenge. So, just a suggestion. And lastly, we have the secondary weapons. Now, the shotgun is arguably one of the best ones. I think there's at least one more battle banner. I don't have it. It should do some kind of healing effect, but I wouldn't suggest it. There's also the, what do you call it? It shoots, I don't remember what it is. Hold on. Let me see if I can see it. Where is it? Righteous Bison, that's what it is. So this is it. It doesn't require ammo. The projectile penetrates enemy targets, and the projectile cannot be deflected. But it only deals 20% damage to buildings. Now this is not at all bad. The only problem with it is that it's difficult to hit people. And if you do hit them, it doesn't do a ton of damage, but hits them enough to at least hurt them a bit. So I would suggest this if you do want a nice secondary like that, but if you like the shotgun, I wouldn't suggest this because it's a kind of a downgrade in a way. And this is the Cowmangler also. So just check that out if you'd like. Alright. So back to the soldier. A shotgun, excellent weapon at close range. It will, if you shoot out all your rockets and at least 2 of them hit a heavy medic, and the heavy is overcharged, you can easily, I'm saying easily, just run up to that heavy, nail him with about 3 of these shots, and he's dead. This shotgun is an excellent secondary. I highly suggest using it. It is so trusty, you wouldn't believe it. The Battalion's backup. It provides a defensive buff that protects nearby teammates from crits and blocks 35% of incoming damage. Now there's a rage bar that increases through damage taken. Now this means you have to have either a medic, a constant supply of health kits, or you need to make a lot of trips back to a dispenser or the resupply room because you're going to be taking damage, which isn't really good because the point of the game is to not take damage and kill others. So I don't know. You go ahead and choose this if you want, but me, I think it isn't good unless you're holding a point and you got a team behind you. The buff banner. This is my preferred one. It provides an offensive buff that causes nearby team members to do mini crits. Now, these mini crits are extremely useful because they can take down enemies pretty nicely. This lasts for about 8 seconds, as long as this one, I think. And you only have to do about 600 damage in order to get this. All you have to do is just do damage. That's all you have to do. So, basically just keep on spamming rockets, and you're eventually going to get this. It's free mini crits. So, I suggest the buff banner for sure if you don't like the shotgun, which is nearly impossible because the shotgun is just absolutely great. Next, the gunboats. This is why I call them gunboats, but they should be gun boots. Anyway, when you shoot something at your feet, it's called if you shoot a rocket at your feet to jump to get launched, it's called a rocket jump, and this is going to negate 60% of that blast damage from rocket jumps. Now, if you are a mobile soldier and you like to get around a field, this is a great upgrade for you. It's going to replace your shotgun or buff banner or battalion's backup, whatever you choose, but for the most part, it's great if you enjoy rocket jumping because you're going to take almost no damage. Paired with a direct hit, you will have just about all your health still. So, besides falling damage, you will take virtually no damage. And lastly, the mana treads. These are very unused. I don't know if they're underused or not because it doesn't. It's a bit. You don't. There's things that are better than this because a minus 70%. Sorry, minus 75% reduction in push force taken from damage. Now I'm not exactly sure what this means. I think it's either you fly farther or you don't fly further because minus 75% and then reduction. I don't know, but you probably don't go as far from rocket jumping. But when you do land on somebody, if you happen to land on somebody, you will deal 3 times the falling damage, your falling damage, to the player you land on. So if you land from a very high up point and you land on this guy's head, you're gonna kill him instantly. Although it's not really something that you're gonna do all the time, it's not a bad thing if you want to give yourself a challenge. So I don't know. You make the decision for yourself. If you want to go with the man treads, then be my guest. But if you don't, I'd suggest either the gunboats, buff banner, or shotgun over that. So anyway, enough with that. We gotta go into the other loads before I run out of time here. So next off, we have, well, this was a more default, like what you should use if, this is what you should basically use all the time. Next, we got more of a fast hitter, I guess you could say. The Liberty Launcher, Shotgun, and Equalizer. The Equalizer is on virtually, on just about every loadout. I think the last loadout does not have it. I'll show you why. But the Liberty Launcher, it hits things quickly. This is probably more of a beginner to learn the basics. Although you don't want to stick with the Liberty Launcher too long, like I said, or else you'll start getting really used to the plus 40% projectile speed. Shotgun, you could use the Gunboats for the rocket jumping negation, because if you're going to get around fast, but Shotgun is just trusty for about every situation. So next, I've got more of a healing soldier. This is one of my favorite loadouts, actually. Just starting to get into the black box. Like I said, 15 health. It starts going a long way if you start hitting a lot of people. 15 health is not a lot, but when you start hitting people a lot, if you start getting good, you can build up your health almost as fast as looking around and trying to find health packs, which is extremely useful because the soldier will take a lot of shots because he's a hard class to kill. So yeah, the other things are here because that reasons from here basically they carry on here. So this is more. Whoa, sorry about that. This is more of a team player soldier. He's gonna go in. He's gonna play mostly for his team, barely for himself. He's giving up a lot of his advantages in order to help out his team. So I say the rocket launcher, the buff banner, and the paint train, so you can catch your objectives faster. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. I'd very much appreciate it if you did. So hope you enjoyed the overview, and Pyro's next, so if you could give some likes to support this series, then that would be great. But anyway, have a nice day.